I think Mike keeps doing that. You already, and then just you have the 13th ranked class. You just picked up some 3 really good 3-star commits. I know everybody gets caught up in the stars game and the gazing, but like you got 3 really good commits, and one of them being local kid, and that's just again, I the only thing I never get, Mark, and they're gonna have to do this one day for me and just like really sit down and say 3-6. This is what we're doing and why we're doing it. I just can't understand our recruiting, but it's nowhere near as bad as what the fan base screams because it's the 13th ranked class, and he's focusing on high school kids and body types. You go and you get a couple more guys and you get a couple flips that we're involved in, and you're gonna have you'll have a much better than 13th ranked class when it's all said and done.
So do you know quite a bit, either one of you guys, about these commits? I'll pull them up if we can.
Yeah, I watched their film and I broke some of their highlights down on my show this morning.
All right. Give me a name and I'll find him here.
You got Dalen Green.
Yeah, Jalen
Franklin
Green is the local
Whitley.
kid.
Yeah, Dalen with a D. And what's the third one?
Whitley is that the
Brian
one that's
Corbin?
from
Carbon? Chris Carbon.
Why
Chris
am I not finding
Carbon,
these guys?
Franklin
The 26th
Whitley,
class?
and Dalen
they'll
Green.
be in the 26th class.
Okay.
They all 3 just committed recently.
They're all on the same page on 247. There's like one in between the 3.
Gotcha.
Unfortunately, you lose two commits as well, and Tico Crittenden and Tadarius Hughes. They both flipped the past couple of days.
I wasn't that
They're decommitted. I don't know if they flipped.
I wasn't that big on Tico anyway. I like this kid better than I like Tico.
But yeah, but you see the pieces, like you start to see if you can get Deuce back next year, Danzy comes back, Chroma comes back, you can start to see, like to James's point, the reasons to hold it together. Another top 15 class to kind of solidify the floor of the program, add to what we got with the Twins. Some of these guys could, 6'6", 265, that'll get her done.
Right, and if you watch him, he's everything that we thought Tico was, but a little bit more explosive. They got him playing defensive end on some of his film. But if you look at the size, and he's going – right. I joke with people, how did I go from 215 – you know how I went from 215 to 245 in less than a year? Eating 3 square meals and 2 snacks a day. I didn't have that at home. They told me treat every day like it's Thanksgiving. And I started working out, lifting like I had never did. But – this young man plays defensive end in an odd front. He's going to be your true 3 down, your 3-3-3-4 DN. Basically a kind of a tweener, almost a 3 technique on your D line, but a guy who could also that's explosive enough to keep outside leverage. When you see him shoot the gaps on his film, like shoot the inside, he's faster and quicker and more athletic than the guards. He's also got those go-go gadget arms, meaning he got them long arms. The boy can scratch his kneecap standing straight up. And I saw him going down. Now, what I don't want him doing is necessarily, looking for a pass rush. But he reminds me, if anybody remembers my critique of recruiting last year, I made a big mistake looking at stars. I called the twins, the Desir twins. Everybody knows I know good. I call good twin and bad twin because they both play defensive end. Good twin is a real DN. And I said bad twin, who wasn't as good and I didn't think would see the field as quick as good twin. I said he needs to go interior and become a D tackle. And boy, did Florida State do that. And boy, has he been better than bad twin, been better than good twin. And it's cool. I like them. I like what they can do. And you get your quality guys. They got Kevin Wins and the Desir twins. They caught on those. You have some other guys. 6'6", 265, develop him, and in a year or two, if we know who he is, we know who he is. If we don't, we don't. Now, Chris Carbon they put him down as an edge, but he is a jack linebacker in today's game. The jack linebacker is basically an outside linebacker. If you're in the 3-4, that's the guy that can rush the passer or he can drop back in coverage, as well as essentially be a stand-up defensive end. He actually does this very well. He's got interceptions on his highlight film. You see him running down plays from the backside, very disciplined on the zone reads, which is prevalent in college football right now. Does a lot of good things. Do I wish he had a little bit more explosive step at times? Yes, but 6'4", 236, essentially a linebacker in our defense, a place where we don't have anybody that we absolutely just feel good about. I'm not mad at this pick. This is a good pick for a guy with a build that could go either way to where we can either put his hand in the ground or do well. Like one of the guys that Florida State fans hate right now is James Williams, even though he had a good game against Wake Forest. He could be what we want James Williams to be. And then the last kid, Dalen, he's from the Big Bend. He was committed to Arkansas. We have him listed as safety, but he's actually a linebacker. And so that means he can cover. He's violent. He will strike you. He will pop you. I like those Gaston County High School kids. Those Gaston High School, like they have a really hard-nosed football team. And just I think what they got to do is there's a lot of this talent in my hometown of that the Big Bend area is what we call it. They got to do a better job of keeping that in. There's some guys there that are just really, really good. And if you're going to go get a 3-star, get a 3-star from around the corner. And it's something different for playing for your hometown. So cool, good for them. So
there it is. That used to be part of my itinerary before all of these shows. Always check the commits, make sure nobody committed that week. But I got so out of that because it's been so dead in recruiting for a couple months now that I don't even check. But Florida State picks up 3. Are you guys hung up on Norvell making sure that he's strong in Florida? That seems kind of obvious because it's arguably the top recruiting state, high school football playing state in the nation. But obviously he's gone to Georgia, South Carolina, and other places to get players.
Yeah, I think if you look at everywhere, if I coach at Penn State, I got to have Pennsylvania players in there. If I coach other places, you have to be able to keep your backyard your backyard. Florida being a hotbed, you got to be able to not just recruit the whole state. Like, I mean, hell, if you go 8 hours, you're going to cover 2 states. Like in Tallahassee, you go 8 hours west, you're going to cover quite a few more than that. Miami's 8 hours from Tallahassee. So, like, getting Miami isn't as important as it is us knowing that it's in the state of Florida. It's a big state. But Tallahassee hasn't had this much talent coming out of that area since I was in high school. Now, I say that with pride. Like, if you go back and look, if you want to do homework, Mark, look at what Tallahassee was producing from about 98 to like 2005, that year period. It was crazy. It was dope. And I think they're doing it right now.
Yeah, definitely. Mike is kind of who he is recruiting. I don't think all of a sudden you're going to turn into this, battling for a top 3 spot. But ever since this new staff was put together, I think they've done a pretty damn good job of evaluating and making sure they take care of the local kids, doing a better job of getting the guys from the Big Bend or whatever the case may be. It's just precarious. And it's easy to take this stuff with a grain of salt and not get too deep into the recruiting right now, just because the volatility of the situation with Mike Norvell between now and signing day. And it is a business nowadays. And any of these kids that are committed or have just committed, we'll see where it ends up. If we go on this run and Mike wins out, we could get some momentum and push towards the top 10 maybe. If not, if you lose 2 or 3 and he gets fired, you're kind of back to the drawing board. But as far as where it all stands, you can see the reasons of, and as much as I was one of those guys a couple of weeks ago pounding on the table, like, let's just get it done and fire him. Like, this program desperately needs another top 15 recruiting class to kind of get a core of guys in there and not be just portal every year. And this would just be like heaven sent, and so I'm kind of pulling for Mike to clean sweep. He's going to have his work cut out for him in 26 any way you look at it with that schedule. But yeah, I've been pleasantly surprised, and if they can not worry so much about stars, to James's point and my point just now, like James isn't, Mike isn't going to be the guy to go get 10 5-stars. That's not who he is. But if you get guys that can come in here and hit like you did on the Desir twins, et cetera, it'd be great. And bringing back who you have on offense, you got a lot of young talent on offense that would be really nice to get back and keep together.